Nature Links is a program for young adults with mid-range intellectual disabilities. And basically we have the philosophy that we should be stewards of the environment, of the world that we live in. And most of our activities connect to nature in one way or another. We try to foster independent living skills. We encourage positive self-esteem and for students to find their passions and to explore different interests, things in the world that maybe they didn't learn about in a typical school setting.
Nature Links began in 2007 when I was bringing my daughter home from a special school in Massachusetts. She had and has special needs, and I didn't see any places in Miami that I thought were creative enough for young people with intellectual disabilities. And I said, gee, there is a huge and important overlooked market for young adults that age out of the high school system, and they have nothing to do. And in Miami-Dade County, probably around the state of Florida or the nation, there are thousands, if not millions, arguably, or hundreds of thousands of such people. And I knew and do know that my daughter in particular was very sharp in her own way, even though having special needs. And I've come to know and kind of knew then that there are a lot of young adults like that.
Our students, they're interesting people. You get to know them, and there's stereotypes that have, I think, being in this group, you kind of learn to not take those stereotypes and judge people by them, to look at people and get to understand them as individuals and find their talents and their ability to share with the world and with the community. There's also friendships and fun, a lot of fun.
I like everything, and my favorite thing to do is this.
Address this population, roughly 18 to 30-year-olds with intellectual disabilities of the middle range, is really what we've targeted.
Nature Links is very important for the community because they're an overlooked population. The students in this program don't really have the same options that other people in the community that are either higher functioning, they're more independent, they're more able to navigate the system, or the people that are lower functioning that generally have more services available to them. Our students kind of fit in the middle. They're not really independent, but they're not in a position where they need to be placed in a home or an adult daycare facility. They're kind of just in the middle. They deserve a chance to explore a little bit more beyond what was in high school or in the school system. And this gives them a chance to figure out what they like and how to feel good about it and get passionate and motivated and look into a career. Understanding how money works and why we have money, what is the purpose for that, why is it important to have a healthy relationship with others in the community and within our families and peer groups, and how that contributes to personal satisfaction. Oh, this is pretty. Are these
So then it was like, what kind of program do you create that's really different? And I figured that what would be useful would be gardening, growing crops, learning to cook.
And in the process of exploring food, not only will they learn about healthy eating, they're also going to learn about where food comes from and how to create or how to produce our own food. Things we can do at home, recycling, learning about endangered species, using the Metro Rail and the Metro Mover, the city bus. There's just so many different things that we explore. We try to give students a chance to be creative and expressive and to learn skills, to learn about the real world while learning job skills. So these are things that can come in handy if they really enjoy the work as a hobby, as something that's fun for them, they can take that and have some certifications to then move into the real world with a job. They've also learned self-advocacy. And self-advocacy, learning how to reach out for services and speak in an assertive manner. When they need something to get done, how do you communicate that need? So they're, figuring out how to navigate a little bit more independently. We explore culture, we explore music, art, science, environmental science. We learn about weather, city and urban design and architecture, a lot of different topics, personal health, personal wellness. We do interviews with local city leaders, like the mayor of Pinecrest Gardens. Some of our students have had some significant losses in their lives, and they've shown interest in kind of learning how to deal with loss. We had a grief counselor come in to speak to the students about the grieving process and the normalcy and the cycle of life. So the grief counselor, her name is Maria Anderson, she came in and talked to us about making a memory box. And that's something we can use to store some of our memories and keepsakes and photos and different things that mean something to us. So one of our projects was to create a memory box, and we found different types of paper and glue, and students just had a good time creating their own unique memory box. And we've explored different aspects of personal wellness, and some of the aspects relate to social health and communication. And when you have healthy social relationships, you have effective communication. So we explored themes, and we did artwork that related to how we can communicate with others non-verbally. That it doesn't have to be verbal, it doesn't have to be electronic. It could be body language or gestures or sign language through color and drawing and just self-expression with art forms.
And then we've gotten them into trying to make iMovies, and to get them, which we're going to be doing more of coming up this coming year, interpreting the world kind of for others.
So one of our projects was a self-portrait. And we had the students, I worked with the students to work with a canvas and three-dimensional items. So students drew a depiction of themselves. Some of the depictions were like self-portraits with the face, but we had a couple of students who did other body parts. One of them used his hands. It was an extension of himself, and he created hands. And another student did kind of like a portrait, but she included her relatives, different people in her life who helped contribute to who she is. And all of our students took different found items. We had rice, black beans, dry beans, marbles, ribbon, fabric, paper, markers, paint, all kinds of different mixed media elements that we were able to use, and they got creative.
So it's really morphed into a number of different separate programs. We have 3 now, with a growing number of partners. City of Miami, we've worked with Miami-Dade County, University of Miami Center for Autism Research, on and on and on. Fairchild Tropical Garden, here we are at Pinecrest, which is the city of Pinecrest. Let us be here this summer. And the Frost Science Museum, where we have one of our programs.
It's good for their social skills. They have a community that they can rely on each other, and they can have a boost when they need it, as opposed to sitting home all day, doing nothing, watching TV, sitting on the computer, not really, thriving.